Welcome to the CAPS Pro series on billing and payments. My name is Shelby Hedgepeth.
And I'm Chastity Ball. Shelby and I are consultants in Provider Relations, Education, and Outreach team.
Today, we will go through common billing and payments questions in the Georgia CAPS system.
During this training, we're going to review the 4 different types of scholarships. We will walk step by step in Georgia CAPS to navigate the scholarships detail page. We will look at tracking attendance in Georgia CAPS. We will dive deep into remittance statements, discuss holding slots, and look at those registration fees. CAPS offers 4 types of scholarships. Full-time scholarship is for children who need care for 3 or more days within a service week. Before and after school scholarships are for children who are school age who need care before and or after the customary school day. A variable schedule scholarship is for school-age children who attend the same child care provider throughout the year that they attend during school holidays and summer breaks. Part-time scholarships are for children who need care for 1 or 2 days within a service week. As a reminder, a service week is from Monday to Sunday. These scholarships are not transferable, so keep in mind you cannot change a scholarship from one center to another without that family submitting an official provider change request. They can do so by contacting their case manager or using their Georgia Gateway portal to request that change of provider. Keep in mind, even if the location is owned by the same person who owns a different location, that scholarship is only active at the location listed on the scholarship. Please use the provider ID to determine where that scholarship is eligible. To view scholarship details, you log into your Georgia CAPS system. Once you've logged into the system, you select the Scholarship tab on the left-hand side. On this tab, you can see active, expiring, recently expired, and hidden scholarships. You can only bill for the time period that is recorded on the scholarship. If a child is no longer in your care or the scholarship is not the correct type of scholarship, then you should report that to Georgia CAPS. Providers must only bill for the days the child attended and mark this accordingly in the billing portal, which is now Georgia CAPS. You can do so by referring to your arrival and departure records. To view the details of a particular child's scholarship, you select the child's name. Please note, the download PDF option is not available at this time. If you would like to have a hard copy of the scholarship, please ask that child's parents about making a copy of the one that they received. Just a reminder that until September of 2024, families are only paying the family fee at this time, and that can be found here under Provider Rate Details under Family Fee. And while it doesn't look as if this page will move or scroll up or down, if you scroll up, you will see the provider rate details continued on this page with information regarding family fees and scholarship visibility. In attendance tracking, you can view that by selecting the attendance tracking tab on the left. Here you can add attendance and view your attendance history. To submit attendance, select Add Attendance button. This is where you will use the drop-down to select your desired service week that you're submitting attendance for. Once you've selected your week, select Yes or No to indicate whether or not you are open. For this presentation, we are selecting Yes, we are open. Using your arrival and departure records for this week, please indicate whether or not the child attended by selecting Yes or No under Child Attended. In this example, The child selected yes is a child with a full-time scholarship. As you see in this example, since the child attended all week, the mark attended for Monday and Friday was selected. This child selected no is a child with a full-time scholarship, and the service weeks days are grayed out. Now Shelby is going to talk with us about remittance statements.
Remittance statements. Remittance statements provide details about a payment being made. You can view your remittance statements by selecting the Remittance Statements tab on the dashboard. Once you select the tab, your list of remittance statements will populate. You will select the remittance ID you would like to view more details about. Once you select the remittance ID, you will see each invoice that is connected to the remittance statement. You can select the invoice number to see the invoice details. Once you are in the invoice, you will see all the details related to that invoice, including the invoice number, the payment amount, the recoupment amount if there is any, the number of children connected to the invoice, and the payment date. For any details related to the invoice, you can look at the children's list. Each child's name is listed, and the breakdown of that payment for that child is listed as well. The service week, the base rate, the family fee, differential, tier amount, registration fee, and the total authorized payment for that child. When should you submit a request payment adjustment correction? There are 4 reasons to select when submitting a payment adjustment and correction. The first one is mark no care and error. If you marked a child as not being in attendance at your center, when your arrival and departure records indicate that they were in attendance, you should submit a marked no care and error request. Please note that when you mark no care and error, you will have to upload supporting documentation such as arrival and departure records with a legible signature. You can also request payment adjustment correction for unbilled service weeks between 60 to 90 days old, missing scholarships, and other payment requests. Other payment requests are any payment discrepancy, such as a provider was paid the incorrect tier or a provider was paid the incorrect rate. Please note that the system does recognize school calendars and automatically adjusts variable schedule scholarships based on scheduled days off. However, if there is an unexpected closure or days off that were not planned in advance and on the school calendar, users can also use the Other Payment Adjustments tab in the system to report these instances. Now we are going to look at an example of requesting a payment adjustment and correction for a child marked no care and error. As you see on this slide, the reason is already selected, marked no care and error, and the service week is selected. You will use the children list to mark the children as present for the ones that you marked no. When you scroll down, you will see there's an area to add comments. Please leave a detailed comment as to why you are submitting this payment adjustment and upload all supporting documentation. In this case, you would want to upload the arrival and departure records. Registration fee. The registration fee can only be charged once per certification period. If the child is eligible, the option will be available on the attendance tracking page. If they have already been charged the fee for the certification period, it cannot be charged again. A reminder, the registration fee can only be charged once per certification period, regardless of where the fee was charged. CAPS will pay up to $65 in registration fees. Holding slots. When a child cannot attend for an extended period of time, CAPS may authorize payment to a provider to hold a slot for a maximum of 2 service weeks during the eligibility period when the child is absent from care. However, the provider must be open for business in order to receive payment for holding slots and must include specific payment requirements for holding slots in their policy. This policy must be on file with CAPS. The child must have attended the provider in person at least once to claim a holding spot. Thank you for joining us for the CAPS Pro Series Billing and Payments. If you have any questions, please let us know by logging a ticket in your Georgia CAPS portal. Have a good day.